Okay, here's part two of my 5-part update of my joyful, healthy eating and all that fun jazz. Yesterday, in my last video, I talked about how I decided to found not dieting anymore. This is gonna be my last diet, and then I decided to embrace mindful eating and intuitive eating with help of a therapist and a nutritionist. Healthy, mindful eating pretty much is what it says it is. It's pretty much kind of like a meditation with food. You pick it up, you smell it, you eat it, you take every bite, you savor it, you swallow, you feel what is on the inside. And intuitive eating is a lot of listening to your body, listening to your hunger cues, see if you're thirsty, and all those things. Because it turned out I was very disconnected with my body. Years of dieting and all these arbitrary rules has created a situation where I stopped really listening to my hunger cues. I would try intermittent fasting, and so that's pretty much starvation. I would not eat for a long time, or I would do something along like keto and just get to the point where I'm eating a certain amount of eat via time instead of via hunger. Was also, especially working 9 to 5 and having a job. You're at breakfast in the morning, and then you hit lunch at a certain time, and then you have dinner when you come home, whether you're hungry or not. And sometimes, if you have the time or if you bread it, sometimes I bring a snack and eat that if I ever get hungry. But for the most part, I wasn't really listening to my hunger cues, or I would ignore my stuffed, my fullness cues. That's a better way of putting it. Oh, I was full. Basically, I would have to numb myself, is something I would do often, to shove food in my mouth because I felt a comfort at feeling full. And there was just something about that. It was almost like my warm blanket, was that feeling of having a lot of food in my belly. When this started since I was young, going through my own version of childhood trauma, which is not what this is about, but that's how I dealt with it. A combination of numbing my feelings and not feeling any emotion and working on doing that has been a long process. But food is one of my go tos to numb my emotions because when your body's digesting food, it doesn't really have as much energy to fuel emotions, and it does a really good job. And also, I kind of suffer a little bit, I think, of some sort of body dysmorphia, or like sometimes, especially looking at myself in the video, I'm always feel like I'm surprised about how I look. Just like that's what I look like. Like I don't feel like I have a good sense of my body, especially since the way I deal with trauma or the way I deal with issues is to leave my body and watch TV or now TikTok for hours and not really pay attention to my feelings or pay attention to my body or how I feel unless of course I'm working out and then I'm in constant pain. And so working on getting into my body and dealing with my emotions better, years of self-development have put me in a situation where I'm really good at lying to myself, really good at remaining a super happy, joy filled, positive person and justifying my actions in that regard so I don't have to deal with the actual happenings or this idea that I'll always get to action later or do it tomorrow was one of my favorite traps that I got into. And so mindful eating and intuitive eating have been really big for me. The first thing actually is a habit that I still have to this day in mindful eating is putting my fork down. I noticed while eating, it would just be a constant just scooping crap into my mouth, but delicious crap like macaroni and cheese or whatever. Doesn't matter what it is. It would be just be like right when I'm finished swallowing, the next bite's just ready to go in. It was practically constant. And just doing something as simple as putting the fork down and eating has been big for me. And so, really getting into my body, enjoying the food, and making enjoyment of that food as important as eating, and not so, and kind of switching that enjoyment of eating rather than the enjoyment of being done with eating, which is that fullness feeling, and making that an enjoyable experience in itself. And so, yeah, so that's been a big step for me. And tomorrow, I am going to talk about this TikTok that I saw that put a lot of what I'm doing also in perspective. But yeah, mindful eating, intuitive eating. I'll talk way more about that later as well because these are only going to be 5 minutes. So that's just putting the fork down, enjoying my food. That's been a big step for me. And yeah, so that's just a slight introduction of my little story on how I'm working on being a awesome, healthy eating, healthy journey. Wow, I suck at ending this video. Like and subscribe.